Today we're going to work on how futures contracts on exchange rates work, basically the mechanics of it. First and foremost, these are traded on Chicago Mercantile Exchange, short for CME. All contracts are priced as value of the foreign currency in US dollars. Now, what are certain things? One is contract size. This varies from contract to contract. For example, Euro futures are multiples of 125,000 euros. Pound futures are multiples of 62.5. In the old days, what's equivalent of €1 was roughly about £2. That's pretty much a remnant of those days. I don't know. I think it's 100,000, but I'm not sure. We can check. And so let's record Corion as present. There are many contracts, typically for a few months after the current month. But later at the quarter end months. Most volume and open interest is in the so-called near contract. And that near contract changes frequently. Let's go to Euro futures, for example. If you go to quotes, currently the near contract is the September contract. As you can see from the transaction volume, today's volume until now, it closes, at least the CME transactions closes at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Compared to the October contracts, it's pretty much 100 to 1. So most volume is in the near contract. You do have some volume at quarter and month contracts, such as December 2025, but not much after that. So the near month and near quarter, let's say, have pretty much most of the volume. Similarly on open interest. Open interest is the name we give to number of contracts that have opened but have not been closed yet. For example, on the NIR contract, it's 800,000. Well, that's let me see, multiply that with 125,000. I think that's about roughly 100 million euros, 100 billion euros. I'm sorry. Yeah, 100 billion euros. That means right now there are 100 billion euros worth of futures contracts that are open on the September contract but have not been closed yet. For each contract, we need to define certain parameters. One of them is contract size, the other is expiration date, and we could get that from the specs tab. Termination of trading is 9:16 a.m. Central Time, 2 business days prior to the third Wednesday of the contract month. So for September, that date would be third Wednesday, 17th. So you can trade it until September 15th, 9:16 a.m. Central Time. The reason 2 business days, when we talk in spot markets, when we say a spot transaction, unless you're doing it directly with your bank, that's actually a T+2 settlement. So if I do a spot trade between banks on Monday, the actual settlement which means change of euros and dollars, happens on Wednesday. So effectively, the last day to trade is 9:16 a.m. Okay, on 2 business days prior to the third Wednesday. That's almost always is a Monday, unless it's a bank holiday in Europe. Delivery type. Certain contracts are non-deliverable. Basically, profits or losses are calculated using some sort of reference index, but an exchange rates deliverable. When the trading ends at 9:16 p.m. Chicago time on September 15th, if there are any open positions at that point, you basically have to make a delivery on the third Wednesday. Let's say I'm short uh, 10 contracts, which means I promise to sell 10 contracts worth of euros, which is 1.25 million euros, and uh, get dollars in return. And the exchange rate is going to be the settlement price at the end of that day. Okay. Typically, almost all open contracts are closed before the last trade time and day, and in many cases, they are rolled over to the next contract. Typically, about a week before uh, the expiration date of the near month contract or the near contract. Uh, Most of the volume is in that near contract, but the last week or the last few days, most of the volume actually shifts to the next one, which means a lot of people with open positions, they roll it to the next contract. And